morning, my friends. This is Different Day Laura here. I thought I'd do a little preamble because, as you will see in just a moment, this video is different. Ugh. So I recorded this Quilting Bee about 2 weeks ago, and it very instantly became obvious that I had a sound issue. And I had placed my fan behind my computer just so there's a little air movement, and I didn't think at all about the fact that, oh, that's where the speakers are on this computer. And so, unbeknownst to me, through all of my filming, it is very windy. It sounds like we are on the highest mountaintop in a gale. And so that day I spent hours trying to download different applications and programs and sound edit, and I was way over my head. I was in the deep end of the ocean as far as my skill set goes. So I really tried to fix it, and nothing helped enough that I was willing to post it. So I was like, okay, scrap that. I'll just re-record next week after my heart heals a little bit from the disappointment. and so I did. I tucked the file aside and I re-recorded. And it went fine. It went fine. It went better than I thought. Sometimes I've only had to re-record a couple of times, and sometimes it goes really great, like seamless. And other times I just feel like I don't have the sparkle that I normally would because I'm saying everything again. And yeah, so it went well, and I hit stop to finalize the file, and it like scooted itself down to where it's supposed to be, and then it was this gray box. And I'm like, what is that? That's not a video. And then I clicked on it, and I tried to click on it again, and it was nothing. It was nothing. It didn't exist. And after a little bit of research, I found out that that little gray box with a little play symbol and a line through it basically means that when I finalized the video, when I hit stop, you know, really complicated things, it corrupted. Something happened in that moment, and it ruined the video. And so it's been about 4 days since that happened. And I pretty much walked away from the computer the other day when that happened, and I said, that's it. It's just not supposed to happen. I quit. I give up. And I felt really bad, even though everything was kind of out of my control except for the stupid fan, but that was just an honest mistake. I feel bad because I've been promising this video, and I've filmed it twice. I've spent like 12 hours over a couple of days trying to make this happen, and it just wasn't working. And so finally, last night I decided, okay, I am just going to post the windy mountaintop video. I cannot recommend hearing devices, so no headphones. It's going to be windy, and if you don't want to watch it, I don't blame you. Please don't give me any hate in the comments. I really did my best. If you choose to watch it, just go in knowing it's a windy experience. So, yeah, this is just to say, please don't use headphones. It will blow you away. And and please forgive me for the sound quality in this. I really did my best. Anyways, if you choose to continue, welcome to the Quilting Bee. There is a lot of really fun stuff to see. I mean, it's a good one. And if I don't see you until the next one, no worries. I'll be back. You'll be around. We'll meet again at some point when there's no fan behind the computer and the computer plays nice and doesn't delete my files. Okay, take care, my friends. Good morning, my quilty friends. I just went blank because I almost said stitchy. I mean, quilting is stitching. Anyways, 2 seconds in, we're already off track. My name is Laura. You found all of these stitches, and I'm really glad you're here with me this morning. It's a Saturday. I am working on getting all my brain gears clicked in. We're gonna do the best we can. Yeah, the coffee will kick in at some point. It's all good. I have a quilting bee today. I'm so excited. I must confess, as I was putting stuff together yesterday, I felt somewhere between, oh my gosh, I've done so much. This is gonna be great. And I've done nothing. I have nothing to show, which is categorically untrue. But you know, it's just these swings you go through as you're pulling everything together and everything's in pieces, but it's all good. I do have 2 finishes, so it's not nothing. And I have made good progress despite unexpected life events happening in the last couple of months. I definitely plan to come back in May with a video, but wound up having surgery right in the last days of April, and I mean, I almost did nothing in May at all other than handwork. So we had to give ourselves a little bit more time to actually have something to share. But here we are, mid-June, and I'm feeling pretty good about stuff. And I, as always, have oodles of ideas and plans. So like, there's no shortage of things to rattle on about. It's just oh, having something new perhaps to rattle on about. I mean, it's fine. That's what we do, right? We kind of think about things until we almost manifest them into reality, right? At least that's how my quilting goes. I swear, I start thinking about a project a year before I actually do any stitching on it. And then that takes me about a year to get the top done. Sometimes they go a lot faster, but like bigger things, more complicated things, right? And then I get the top finished, and sometimes it takes me a couple of years to turn it into an item. So, you know, it's a process. It's a process. Anyways, if you've not been with one of my quilting bees before, welcome. This is basically how it goes. I do actually show things. I used to do a featured designer, but I kind of shared all of my favorites. Not that there aren't oodles, scads, more. I just don't have collections of their things necessarily, even if I admire them. So, I don't know. Should I revisit some things? Sometimes it's fun to do that because you see them afresh, and I'm reminded, I get inspired to do new projects sometimes, you know, to add to the passel. I don't know, maybe I should just start new themes, because I know I've done like star themed quilts, and I've done like Jen Kingwell and Elizabeth Hartman and Yoko Sato. I think I did a sampler episode one time where I featured like sampler patterns. But, I mean, I could probably pull together some. I'm just looking at my bookshelf over here. I'm not like totally disappearing into the void. Just trying to look at briefly what I've got here. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you want. If you would like to see featured things, we can do that again. I do have a few things I'll show later, but they're connected to brain thoughts. So, anyways, I thought since I'm going to show you a quilt that I finished quilting, I would show my favorite quilting tools. So, like the actual machine quilting, free motion quilting. That I use personally. It's very simplistic. I typically find something that works for me, and then I become a grumpy old goat, and I don't want to change my ways for anything. because it works. Why would I try something different? No, that's not true. I am willing to try things different. I'm just reticent to it sometimes. So, first thing is, to baste my quilts, so the backing, the batting, and the top together, I use pins. I don't use spray based. There's nothing wrong with it inherently, but I have pretty good asthma and it just aggravates my lungs to no end. So I can't use spray basting. I've tried using it outside. First of all, I don't really care to lay my stuff on the ground. I don't know why, because I use quilts outside all the time, but for some reason, before it's complete, that just like makes my brain go haywire. So I use, let's see, how can I show these? I may show it okay, but I use these bent safety pins. So if you can see, it's not straight. There is a little chink chink. And I tell you, that makes all the difference in the world when you're putting 100 of them into a quilt. To have that little bendy bend is a lifesaver. So there is a tool that my mom and my sister uses that looks kind of like a safety or a seam ripper with a wooden handle, but it has, instead of the seam ripper, it has a metal shaft that has little rivets out of it that you can use to do and undo the pins. That's one of those tools that would probably be helpful, but I just murder my fingertips instead. So, you know, it works for me. I don't have one. Anyway, so I keep my pins in buckets. I actually have two because sometimes I pin multiple quilts at once. And that way they're ready to go. Anyways, but yeah, bent pins. I know there's probably a more formal term for that, but that's what I call them. Quilting pins. So then the other thing, so that's great. I pin, and I definitely am not, I remember when I was being taught how to do it, it was like you put it in a grid, right? Mine is a chaos organic field of pins, and basically my rule is no more than a hand space should be between any pin. So it's vague, it flexes within an inch or two of that, but really you just want them close enough that nothing's gonna shift. You don't want so much looseness that if, as you're moving things, your backing gets pinched and you wind up with a pleat or fold or something. Trust me, it's a sad story when that happens. Ask me how I know. Anyways, so pins no further than a hand apart. You do have to remove them as you go, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. You get into a motion. So then, this is the real magic sauce for quilting on a domestic machine, honestly, and that's surgical gloves. You can get, they call them quilting gloves. I think these are legitimately like machine something or others. Here's the front information if you want it. I have a few sets of these. I have occasionally worn through the fingertips because that's really what you use to grip, but it's nice to have the full palm because I do grab things. Anyways, try a little bit of quilting without them and then put them on and see the difference, because it's night and day. You really have so much more control, fine control really, and it's way less tiring on your wrists and arms and shoulders. It all ripples up, right? So then the last two things that I use are my walking foot. So I have a Bernina, but I think all companies have their version of a walking foot. Basically, this hooks onto your needle post, and this has its own feed dog, so it's feeding from the top and the bottom. So the idea is that all of your layers move as one unit instead of one potentially getting out of sync with the other and creating snarls, nasty bits. Anyways, for any straight quilting, stitch in the ditch, stuff like that. With my bindings, I always use this to put my bindings on. That's my go-to. And then for my free motion, I like this clear. There is another foot, at least for Bernina's again, that has like a metal circle with a hole through it. I don't care for that one as much. I like the plastic one because there's nothing obstructing what you're seeing. So just a clear free motion, you drop your feed dogs and away you go. And with a little bit of practice, your stitches become more even, and you know, you're only limited by your imagination. So those are my basic quilting tools for machine quilting on a domestic machine. I hope that was helpful. I'm sure some of you will be like, oh, duh, Laura, ugh. And others will be like, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So, yeah, don't be afraid to try. That's what I would say. I have quilted king-size quilts on a 350. That's like a 4.5-inch neck on that machine. Where am I pointing? There. It's brutal. I can't say that's my favorite way to do it. I also have an 880 up on the shelf over here. Much easier, much bigger space to work with. But again, with enough willpower. And I would also say shorter sessions. Anything is possible. Yeah. Yeah, I've done everything from tabletops to king sizes. So I quilt all my own quilts, and sometimes they turn out great, and sometimes I'm like, well, it's done. And in the end, it's all great because it is done and you're using it and loving it, and that's what matters. So be gentle with yourself. Sorry, I swear, Utah's trying to murder my sinuses this year. It's so dry. Anyways, you can do it. Fighting. Okay, let me show you what I've finished. You're probably getting little hints of it behind me, but the first one, I both finished the stitching on and framed Sweet Summer. So this is a little preview, but you're going to see the real thing here. It comes from Change of Seasons by Sullivan. I'm trying slowly to get all 4 of the framed seasonal pieces done. So, and at some point I would like to make a couple of the quilts, but you know, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Anyways, I found this collage frame that fits them perfectly. So right now I'm just switching out the frames. I would like to, if I could, find a few more of these, you know, 1980s family collages and frame them and keep them framed. So it's just a simpler. I do have concerns about, you can see I laced it, and I do have concerns about my little nails wearing out. So no glass. I want the wool to be able to breathe. And yeah, this was a muslin that I tea dyed. I believe it was a tea dye, not a coffee dye, because I wanted a little bit more warmth, you know, for those warm summer days. I do wish I had curved this line just a little bit more. It wound up being rather flat. Either that or softened this line's curve. But that's okay. I wasn't about to pull it out. So, You might notice there's a little stem here. There's supposed to be a berry there. I started this, was it 2 years ago? Maybe it was last year. Anyways, it's been floating around in a partially done state for a while now. And at some point I must have lost a berry. But I stitched the stem anyways because I felt like there was something kind of cute about the fact that maybe a berry fell off and isn't there anymore. I don't know. I felt like it gave it a little bit of a story. So this is wool applique on cotton. It is hand-dyed felted wool, not wool felt. It's covered in stringies. I need to take a little lint roller to it. But I used one strand of DMC to whip stitch all of the shapes down, and then I've embellished it with pearl cottons. It's so cute. I'm really happy with it. In fact, I love the marbling so much, I'm tempted to do some kind of tea dye or something. Will you sit there? Stay. I think we're good. I'm tempted to tea dye the one for autumn, the piece of fabric I've chosen for autumn, just to give it a little bit of marbling. It's dark enough, it doesn't really need that, but I really enjoyed the effect. It was funny because when I first dyed it, I was like, oh my gosh, girl, you went a little crazy. Like, that's going to be way too much marbling. But it's very satisfying. I like it. I don't know. I like it. Okay. Next. I don't think I actually have, it would be down here. Gotta be right here. There it is. Okay. I quilted Fab Farm. So I finished this, was this 2 years ago that I finished the top? Told you it takes me a little bit. Yeah, this is super fun. I did the large quilt, so she gives you a couple different options. I did the large quilt. There are 4 of each animal, and I did each animal a different color. So you'll see that in just a moment. What else can I say about it? I love it. It's fun. I did find a piece while I was quilting it, so I'm literally in the final stages, and I'm going along, and suddenly I notice that there's a piece that is supposed to be like shoulder or something of the creature. Instead, it is a moment of sky, and isn't that a delightful little quirk that was never going to be fixed because here I am in the midst of quilting. So let me pull it up here. I'm going to try to do some calisthenics and stand on my chair, because I've got this table here, so there's not really a great spot in this room to show the quilt in its glory. Anyways, I'll do the best I can, and we'll see how much you can actually see of it. First I'll show you. I actually wound up using a sheet for the backing. It was in really good shape. It was one that, I'd been given by my sister, I think, when we briefly had a queen-size bed, and then my delightful, wonderful husband, who snores like a freight train, and I realized that that was not going to work. We need the space. I love snuggling him, but I also like sleep. So, anyways, so I didn't need this sheet anymore, and there was never a bottom sheet to go with it, so I was like, why not just use it? Then I could get this quilt done. So that's fine. So let's look at this guy all big and open, and hopefully I won't die. And well, if I ever do, I'll do it on camera. Okay. Let's see here. Stand on the table. Well, you got most of it. That's okay. So cute. Down to the bottom. Oh my gosh, I don't even know which one's my favorite. I just love them all. Okay. We live! Okay. Yeah, so it's done. I just did a simple grid. I did try, so in the past when I've done a grid like this, I've either followed seam allowances, so stitch in the ditch, or I have actually drawn the lines out. Like, I have this edgy tool. It's just a clover doobopper. But when you run this along, it draws a little line in your fabric without leaving ink or anything like that, right? And so, yeah, I did the first line, and then I have this arm that sticks out of my Bernina, my walking foot. Here, I can show you. This little arm. So I've got a short one and a long one. I was like, I should try to use these. I've had them for decades and not done much with them. And so I just used a little seam gauge and measured it out to 2 inches, and went along. And it's not infallible. My lines do wave a little bit. They're not completely square, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. They're so cute. It's such a happy quilt with the dancing chickens and these cute cows. Anyways, I love it. I'm so happy to have it done and to get to use it. And it's going to go down on my couch now that, oh, there was our air. Can you see it? Isn't that funny? All this time and one little 1¼ inch square. Yeah, anyways, I'm excited to have it out for the summer, and I think Saoirse, my niece, will really like it. She's really big into right now, so she's 3½, and life is hard. Poor little thing. Between potty training, which is a continual disaster, though she's had more success in the last week or 2 than in the last 6 months. Oh, my poor sister, she's trying so hard. Saoirse is just continuing to be a woman of her own mind and timing. A girl of her own time and mind. Anyways, let's see, we could probably put this here. Ooh, there we go. Okay. So, yes, so she's potty training, is not going well, but we're taking every victory as a win. She'll get there. She'll get there. She's just a smart little thing. Stubborn. Anyways, so between that and little brother imminent in the next, month, who she is very excited about. They've done a really good job about making him kind of part of life before he's out of the belly yet. And, they talk about him. They've shared with her his name. And so they just talk about him. He's just part of the family already, and which is pretty sweet. But That girl is really struggling already with the world not revolving around her entirely. It still pretty much does, more than she knows, but oh boy, she is, I mean, they say terrible twos. I think it waited till 3 for Saoirse. She's just an adorable little monster who we love dearly. Anyways, but she loves pointing out, all that was to say, she loves pointing things out. She's our little narrator of everything. Mama is doing ... or that kiddo, because she calls children in the neighborhood kiddos, that kiddo is ... you know, fill it in. She just narrates everything she sees. It's really, really cute. Anyways, so pointing out animals and stuff like that, I think she'll have fun with this quilt. Makes me want to make something else that she can engage with. And then little baby brother too, when he gets to that age. Hopefully we still live close enough that we have regular encounters. Anyways, okay, I'll stop rattling about my nieces and nephews. Yay for those. And let's go on to what else I did. This is why my quilting bees are always like 2 hours long, because because I can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Okay, so let's pull out the brain binder. I do a quarterly goal sheet, which I would say I was 40% successful on. It's flexible. It's always just things I would like to do. You'll see I completely cut out cottontail. I really had planned on making significant progress on my little buddy quilt, but with my surgery, it was just, I just didn't want to. By the time I was up to doing it, I was like, I'm not in the mood for bunnies and flowers. I want something else. Whatever that might be. So yeah, I wound up working on some things I didn't plan to, and you know, as it always goes, right? Some things that I planned to got done and other things didn't. Anyways, this was my spring goal sheet. That is now retired. I have made a new summer goal sheet, which is basically my projects and then what I would like to accomplish on them. And it, like I said, it's quarterly. So this is June through August. It's 3 months to do these things. And even this bottom is just like ideas of potentials. Anyway, sometimes the goal is really ambitious. Sometimes they're fairly conservative. And we'll see what gets done by the end of August. But first project, I don't think I even have a page for because it has taken a while to get going on. So I'll just show you the book. This is Rooted by Sue Spargo. I finished my little summer back here and was ready to dive into this. And it was a soft dive. It was a shallow dive. But I did make progress, and I have the first block stitched down. So all of the applique is done. Now I just need to do the embellishment, which I can show you how that will compare right here. These are fun because they're definitely done in layers. You position your little cotton accents first, needle turn those down, which I got my placement really off on, but it's fine. It's kind of a guessing game. And then I laid my wool applique over, and I did fuse mine down. Sue Spargo uses freezer paper for her shapes, and she just holds them in place as she stitches them down, which is great. I prefer to use a fusible. It gives it a little bit more stability, especially on some of those looser woven wools, and it just holds everything in place for me. So I did fuse mine down. for stitching, but that's just personal preference. I use a really lightweight fusible too, because I don't want to make it stiffer or have anything obstructing my needle's flow or awkward. My hand is not liking this. Anyways, I use Flexi Fuse right now. I really liked Soft Fuse, but during the pandemic, they ran into factory problems. I think it was financial issues, and I have not been able to find it anywhere. So if anybody knows of a source for Soft Fuse, please let me know. But Flexi Fuse is a great substitute. It's the lightest weight that I have found that's still paper-backed without going to like a, what's that called? Web stuff. Ugh, it's a mess. I don't care for that stuff. I know there's a lot of people who love it, but that's why there's so many tools out there, right? Because everybody loves something a little different. Anyways, I would not recommend anything heat and bond. I don't care how light they say it is. It's gonna be cardboard when you're trying to stitch through it. And why put your hands through that? So, again, personal preference, but I've found, especially with wool, the Flexi Fuse is just right. Just like Goldilocks. So that's my block. I'm excited to do the embellishments. That's where the magic happens on these. I don't have a color, and I even went down to, there's a great shop in Sandy, bit of a drive, but worth it, called Quilts, etc. And on one side of the street, they have their quilt shop, and on the other side, they have like a wool applique mecca. And they actually carry Sue Spargo threads down there. So I went down and I tried to find this kind of blue-gray variegated, and they did not have it. So I might have to go onto her website to find either that color or something similar, because I do like how that looks, and I don't have anything like that. So, but I think I can do everything else with what I have, and then I'll be ready to move on to block 2, which I'll just cover this up here, which is kind of fabulous and interesting. Ooh, it's gonna be really fun. I have all of the backgrounds cut, and I'm pretty sure I even chose the appliques to go with them. So it's just, when I get to block number 2, it'll just be a matter of playing with wool, which is the fun part. Anyway, so that felt really good. That was a fun couple of days of stitching. I'm not a fast wool appliquer. That's okay. It's kind of expensive anyway, so maybe that's a good thing. Okay, so where is my list? All my papers. Okay, now we're ready to dive into, oh yes, this I kind of threw on the top last minute because it was one of those impulsive projects. Let's see if I put this here, then I can still access this. Good. Yes, this was an impulsive project. So I had done the applique. I didn't have anything else prepped at the moment, but I kind of wanted something, you know, that didn't require counting. I didn't really want to do needle turn that day because I'm still expanding my skill set with that kind of applique. And so I thought, well, what about some embroidery? And I didn't actually wind up doing embroidery because I pulled out this project, which I'll have to pop a picture in, because I have no idea what has happened to my cover photo. It is called A Garden Alphabet, I think, by Crabapple Hill, so Meg Hockey, which she is no longer, she has shut her website down, she's retired. But I started this quilt, oh my Lanta, it must have been, I think it was the first year my husband and I were married, because I had started working at Pioneer Quilts within 6 months of us getting married, and the rest is history with that, like, happy place. But they were selling floss sets to go with the patterns, which was great. And so basically my mom was in town and we kitted it up and we were going to stitch it together, and I don't know if she's gotten past the first one, and I've done maybe 5 or 6 out of, you know, the 26 letters of the alphabet, so we're both behind by a decade and a half almost. But I didn't have a block underway, which is silly if you ever want to finish something. So I have traced the next. I actually do have the pattern. I can show you up close. It's just not the full quilt. You'll have seen it though. There we go. So this is what they'll look like. You color them in with, I mean, there's several methods. You can use crayons, you can use oil-based colored pencils, you can, you know, paint it if you want to. I use crayons, just Crayola crayons, and then you melt the wax off of it, and it sets the color, and then you stitch. So, which is super fun. I really enjoy it, but it obviously I didn't get to stitching because I traced this. I use a Pigma pen. I can show you. I have it right here. Permanent Pigma Micron. I like the 005 in a brown. I have used black. Black is fine, but brown just blends a little better. And I really like the super fine one, so your stitching covers up your lines better. Though a 05 I have used, and it does work. Let's see if I can get this next one over. It's big, so we'll have to do something like this. Spring and summer. So these were seasonally appropriate. And I got them traced, so now I just need to have a coloring session, and then I'll be ready to pull the flosses and go. And when I pick my colors, she always recommends in her patterns what color of crayons to use. I use those as guidelines at best. I usually will pull the flosses that are called for, and then I just pick however many colors I want to within that. That way it's unique, and I have more fun with more colors, more shading and stuff. Anyways, so plan to get those colored and get at least some stitching on them in the next, let's see, where did I put, we've talked about things. There. Now, because they are a bit of a process to get the colored ones going, it takes a little bit of time, and I'm flighty. I'm basically a hummingbird when it comes to my projects. I never stop moving, and I go from one thing to another. That's why it takes me 15 years to make progress on things. It's fine. Anyway, so then I went digging. I was like, well, what if I wanted to do embroidery, but I didn't want to do all of the coloring today, so I could stitch today, you know, because that would be, I have other things to do, right? There's life, and life is very busy right now. So I pulled out a couple of whips that I do have started that wouldn't require any coloring. I have all of the fabric cut. I even have most of them prepped. This is Winter Wonderland, which I think is my first Crabapple Hill I ever bought. I bought this when I was a teenager. And you can tell by my fabric choices, they're not what I would choose now. I think this one's underway. Yes, because I was told when I started this, always start with the biggest blocks because you'll run out of steam otherwise. So this is how far I got. On that one. And then I have an alternate because Halloween is so fun. And I actually have an idea for this one. We'll see if I actually follow through because I'm keen on the center here. I'd originally thought I had a different additional haunted house that I thought I might put in the middle and try to still have the band of 9 patches, but I don't know that that will fit with a little bit more experience under my belt. And I quite like the little 9 patches. In fact, I think I would like a little 9 patch in the corners. That could be really cute. Anyways, getting ahead of myself. So I've kind of marked off a couple, but I think I've actually done 3 or 4 of these at this point. I have one underway. I can show that to you. That's more fun than just paper. I am using Cosmo Stitch both of these because that's what they call for, and it's delicious thread to use. So this is nearly done. I can't believe I got this far and stopped it. It must have been like November 1st hit, and I was like, hot potato. Moving on. Anyways, that is so close to this block being done. So close. So what I'm thinking is, softly, these are not formal plans. These are just meandering thoughts. Perhaps in a productive world where I have the time and inclination to do this, in between doing my colorings and stuff, perhaps I would alternate and try to finish this block up first, probably because it's so close, and then maybe I'd pull this out and, you know, give it some stitches and, you know, maybe go back and forth as I had the embroidery stitchy desire. I don't know. Oh no, it's fine. I'll pick it up later. Yeah, that could be fun. It's a pretty recent thought, which is why they were kind of off to the side, not actually in my stack here. But yeah, I'm wanting to do some embroidery right now. So doing some applique has absolutely reignited a passion for things I used to love to do, but I truly haven't done in years with any regularity. So it's pretty fun. Okay, next. This was an impulsive start, oh my land, and it has a bit of a saga. So this is the current issue of American Patchwork and Quilting. I bought it for the cover picture because I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, that is the prettiest patriotic wool applique. It reads very buttermilk basin. I don't think it's actually designed by them. I'm not sure. Oh, it is buttermilk basin. See, I knew it read buttermilk basin. Anyways, it's so pretty, and I don't have the supplies to do it right now. But there was another project in there that I thought, as I flipped through in the store, you know how you do, you kind of like give it a scan. Is it worth the freaking $12, $13? I couldn't believe I used to buy this magazine for like $5.99, and so when I saw this, I was like, oh, sold for one pattern. And then I got up to the register and I was like, excuse you, I think you are mistaken. Only the international magazines are like $20. Anyways, I cried a little bit and then I got over it because I wanted the pattern. Anyway, so I was perusing it and I saw this one, which I was like, oh, that's cute, kind of boring, but cute. And then when I realized, I got home and realized I did not have the supplies for Banner Day, I was like, wait, I actually do have everything but the pink in stash. Like, I had enough. I had a red solid, I had a white solid, I had a blue grunge, and so all I needed, oh, and I had the aqua. So really all I needed was the pink, which is naturally the piece I cut wrong. Anyways, so I was like, okay. And then I saw the schedule and they were going to have it done by the end of June so you could have it through July. And I was like, okay, this could be the perfect picnic quilt. We could take it to the park and sit on it during the fireworks or something. I don't know. I have all these massive dreamy ambitions So here I am slaving away on this project that I had not planned. I have the flying geese units done. I did that yesterday. I was flying through these until I realized I had miscut the pink. They were supposed to be 3.5-inch squares. I cut 3-inch strips. So I have made a very sad order to Fat Quarter Shop because my local shop was out. I bought almost the rest of it, and when I went back in, they didn't have any. Fortunately, it's a Riley Blake basic, so I was able to find it, and I had just like the hint of the selvage on one of the strips, so I was pretty confident what color. Anyways, I'm doing what I can until my pink comes, and don't worry, it's not traveling alone. We would never be so cruel. There are a couple of other goodies coming with it, but yeah, I think it'll be cute. I think it'll be cute. My pink's a little peachier, but that works for me. It's still very pink, and it's fun to have just the slight dots since I have a slight scratchy texture in my grunge. So it's not totally solid, but from a distance, everything's going to read really solid. So the effect will be there. All I'll have to do is find a backing, a dark backing, so that it can lay on the ground and not get dirty. But let's get the top done first, girls. I'm so funny. This was not planned. It's a fairly simple pattern though, as long as you read. And while a little fiddly, I especially found the little 1-inch square bits fiddly. My machine wanted to gobble them up. But it's okay. I also sewed them backwards and had to rip all of them off. Not the little squares, but the strips. I was making this unit and I had done it backwards so the angle came out like this. It basically created a bigger triangle. I was going to make a big square instead of little stars. Yeah, that was not a happy moment. I rejected this project for 3 days after that, and then I put my big girl panties on and ripped them out, re-sewed them. It was fine. We moved forward, and then I discovered I'd cut my pinks wrong, so, you know, it was in the doghouse again. But, it's cute, right? I think it'll be fun. And maybe next year I'll start Banner Day. It's just going to take a little bit more, especially for the words, the blue and the red wool. It's going to take more than I have. I have typically bought 1/8 yard pieces, which for wool is, let's see if I can remember, it's like 12 by 9-ish. It's probably not right, but somewhere near that. Maybe it's 13 by, it depends on the wool too, because it is felted, so it shrinks in the felting process, and every wool shrinks a little bit differently, right? So there's a bit of a variance. Anyways, these are the details that do not matter. But most of my pieces, is what I'm trying to say, are too small. They would do like 1 letter. I'm going to have to order, I'll have to call Pioneer Quilts or something and say, hey, my friends, we need to order some wool. But not this year, not this year, next year. There'll be more blue and red available next year anyways. I'm pretty sure they're probably wiped out. Okay, next project. This one is in the book, The Brain Binder. Those other ones were just spontaneous whatevers. Okay, so here's my cover page. This is Derby House by Minick and Simpson. I am almost done with month 2. Here's the quilt. It is spectacular. Most of what I've done so far are these little edge blocks, but I think month 3 I get to do some of these larger moments, which is pretty exciting. This is my color palette so far. I'm going scrappy. I have a bucket that I've pulled of red, white, and blues, and I just pick by block, and then when it's a new color, I'm adding it to my palette page. A little swatch. But now that I've done a couple months, you're getting more of a vision for what it will be all together. So my blocks, like I said, most of them are pretty small. Just use this as my background here. So there are a few of these little stars. Each one is different. And then bigger stars, kind of pinwheely stars. It's so fun because while there are a lot of stars, they're all a little bit different fabrics, so they all have their own magic. And I've got modern prints, reproduction prints, like this is a 1930s print. I've got 1800s prints, old and new. This is a Bonnie and Camille chicken, you know. It's just, we're just going for color and fun, and yeah, so those are the little blocks I did. That was month 2's stars. And then there was an applique block called for, but I didn't do any applique on it yet because I was busy doing other things that you'll see. I did get it all prepped, cut out, and glued into place. I am currently using, oh my gosh, my brain just went. Australian. Oh my land. What's her name? It's right here. Sarah Filkey. I had Sarah, but I was saying Sarah Watts in my head, and I knew that wasn't right. Sarah Filkey. Anyways, she uses Roxanne's glue. Always clogs the spout glue. Glue based it. Roxanne glue based it. Tiny dot. Which would be easier to do if I could unclog my proboscis here. But I have to unscrew that and just kind of dab it with my finger. Anyways, it's less elegant, but it still works. Anyways, everything's in place and ready to start stitching. So when the mood hits, this cutie can get some work done. And yeah, it's gonna be cute. Look at all those circles. She does, the Minick and Simpson pattern does recommend using the perfect circles for all the berries and stuff, which I knew I had, and I dug around like an unhinged feral person for days before I finally found, well, first I finally gave up, and then I did find them, but I had already given up. So these are pretty cool, the Karen K. Buckley circles. The idea is that they don't melt, so you can actually you can press, you can do a little basting stitch, cinch the circle down around it, and then press it and remove your little template, and you've got like perfect circles. My circles will be organic and wonky-ish. They'll be okay because I'm not using those, but I did find them, which felt like a victory, and then I tucked them away because we had moved on. Anyways, I've actually never used them. I've owned them for years and years. I've never used them. I always just wind up free-forming my circles, and they wind up whatever shape is closest to a circle that they wind up. That's okay. Fly by the seat of our pants. That's how we do it. Okay, next project. I need to like keep moving on it. We're almost an hour in, and I have stuff. Oh my, not yet. Impatient. Okay, Strawberry Garden. When last we met, I was just prepping it. Here's my palette page. I got all 12 months cut out. It is completely prepped. These are my fabrics. Which are similar but not too matchy-matchy to what they did. They're very similar, but I've added more variety, essentially, is what I've done. And I'm doing more low volume with very little solid. They had like a 4.5 yard solid requirement. And while I had that piece, it's a good thing I didn't use it because I couldn't have done the America quilt. The picnic quilt. This is my box of all of my blocks. So they're in these little baggies, and they're clipped together with the name of the block by month. So this is month 4, I believe, or 3. No, it's gotta be 3 because I think I've only done 1 month. And then my binding, which will be so cute. And is actually an old fig tree fabric, so it felt really appropriate. I don't normally fully pre-cut and kit projects like that, but I will say it was fairly satisfying. And it's kind of nice because now if I want to do a month, just pull out the little baggie and I'm ready to go. So I have done month 1. I've pieced month 1, I should say, which has 3 of these little flying geese duty bops, which are all slightly different, but in keeping with each other. And that's kind of how this quilt is going to go. Each block, if there's multiples of it, will be different from the next, but they'll fit the color scheme that is called for. And then that bigger block. So, that's our start, which I did like a month ago, and then I've been doing other things. I got distracted. Down here. There we go. The next month will be fun because it has these strawberries. Get closer. These strawberries. And then these flying geese blocks. So, those will be fun. Get some green in the mix. It's such a cute project. We'll see how far I get on it this month. My goal, I think, if I pull out my, where's my cover sheet here, my goal page. Strawberries, soft goal for getting months 1 through 6 done. So I'm 1/6 of the way there. We'll see. That would be pretty exciting. All right, next project that I worked on is, I'm calling it my Sunshine Yellow quilt. The quilt is actually called the Redford quilt. By then came June. So we don't need to see my cover page for that. We'll just go here. So this is the quilt, bare paws with micro sashing in between them. So scrappy yellows, yellow low volumes for the backgrounds, and then my micro sashing is going to be corals. Oh, it'll be so cute, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. I'm about halfway through the bare paws, and then I get to assemble the actual blocks. Once I get the bare paws done, it's all downhill from there. It'll be so easy because there's 25 of those bigger blocks. There are 100 of the bare paws. So I won't show you all of them because I think I have about 50 of them here in my stackaroo. But I'll show you a few just to give you the idea of what we've got going. Let's see if I can do this left-handed. They're so cute, and they go from cooler yellows to, you know, kind of almost burnt orange. But that's just to give a little bit of movement. Really, the dominant color is our Sunshine Yellow. That's an old scrap. I think I've had that since I was 10. It was kind of fun though. These color palette scrappy quilts are great for using up those older scraps, because they don't have to exactly fit a vibe, if that makes sense. Like some fabrics read more modern, some more classic. Some are edgier, some are softer and delicate, and in something like this, it doesn't matter. All that matters is the color, and it all comes together to make magic. And I think that little pop of coral going through the blocks will be really fun, because as you can see in some of my yellows, and then even some of the low volumes, I have little pops of pink and coral, and I think it's just all going to come together really, really fun. So that's about half of what I've done. You kind of get the idea there. Yeah, making progress. All these bear paws. They're so different from the bear paws I did last year. Last year I made my father-in-law a birthday quilt that had bear paw blocks featured, and these have such different vibes. Which makes them fun. That's something I'm really into right now, and you'll kind of see that as we get deeper into my brain percolations, is that I'm really loving this idea of classic blocks redone with a twist. So, like bear paws, I've done, you know, woodsy, earthy, batik bear paws, and now I'm doing bright sunshine yellow bear paws with kind of a citrus bent to it, and same block, totally different quilts, totally different results. Quilting is really cool. It's really cool. It can really become expressive in that way. Okay, next quilt is called Farm Life. This one I don't know if I've shared with you. I may have. Where are you? I know it's in here. No. It is a wool applique quilt on cotton. Where does it live? Here we go. I found it. Here's my cover page. Got all the steps that I need to do, but you can see I need to add, I finished the log cabins yesterday. So here's the quilt. I've had this pattern for years. It was originally being done as a block of the month. I was at a quilt show, and on one of my breaks, because I was working the quilt show, one of the shops had this hanging. It was so beautiful, and I don't think it was even exactly like this, but I just remember, I never took a picture. I actually did kind of try to dig through my archives and see if I could find my old quilt show photos, if I had taken a picture of this one. I must not have had my my phone on me at the time, because I don't have a picture of how they did it, but I loved it, and I asked, I can't really afford to do the block of the month right now, but do you have just the pattern? And I got really lucky, and they did. So I've had this sitting in the background for years, just waiting for the right moment. Apparently this year was the right moment, because I kind of spontaneously started this one too. You can see I'm going for really creamy ivory backgrounds with a farm theme. We've got little chickens and sheeps. These are the logs. So those are going to be dark browns. The pattern calls for greens. This picture is really misleading because it says greens, cut your greens, blah, blah, blah. Honey, that's not green. That's brown. So I went with browns because I liked the brown and black. I feel like it's classic. And then really warm, rich, you know, almost Kansas Troubles colors for our triangles. So that's the idea. This quilt's a little funky. You have to assemble basically the backgrounds before you can do any of the wool applique. Some of them stay in the blocks, like the little sheep I could actually do anytime now, and the chickens, they stay in their blocks, but the windmill goes between multiple blocks. The truck sits over like 4 blocks. It's like right over a corner. Obviously the house is over multiple blocks. So yeah, there's some carryover. So you have to kind of assemble at least chunks before you can do any of the applique. So that's what I've been working on, is the chunks, the background. I have, let's see, how can I show this best? This is my chicken block. But really, so here are all of the half square triangles for that outer border. Super fun. They're so rich. They're just juicy. I love it. This is my background for the chickens, which did not require any piecing. And then something fun about the backgrounds is they're actually 4 patches. So I'm gonna like reverse. No, I'll do it this way. Okay. So they, in the picture, again, it's a terrible old blurry picture. And it just looks like solid squares behind, but it's actually pieced pieces, and they probably went a little bit more subtle than I'm going. You know, mine will have a bit more movement, but it's going to be so fun. It's just going to be, I don't know, I think it's going to be one of those richly satisfying, cozy, comforting quilts. So that's all of the background squares that go in between the logs, which this was yesterday's activity. It's my logs. My blacks and browns, and it's kind of a taupey gray mixed in there too. There are 12 blocks. It's so funny. Some of them look a little wonky donkey, but that's because I didn't bother to cut all of my wovens on the grain. I was working with scraps, so beggars can't be choosers. Sometimes our stripes make it look like things are going askew, but that's okay. And last but not least, fun. So those go in between these dudes. And then you get your appliques on top, which will be fun. So I think I am at the point now where I need to look really closely at the, let's see, I don't want to flop this. There's too many components here. Oh, gentle. Gently. Yes, I'm at the point where I need to look at how things overlap and what are the smallest units I can put together, because I don't want to put the whole top together and then be working with, you know, all of the, I think I'm already going to have to baste my edges just so I don't lose any seams, since they will be handled. Here, I'll just pull this up so you can see while I'm chattering. Anyways, but what is the smallest unit I can put together to be able to add the applique, right? Pretty sure I could do the flag by itself and then embroider the flag pole once I get these 4 together. Can I do the clothesline without adding that bottom block? I don't know. I need to look at where they actually sit. It looks like the truck I could probably do just as a block. Chickens are just a block. Cows, depends on where that pumpkin sits. No, it looks like the cow goes over into this block. So I might have to do like 2 blocks there, right? Stuff like that. I'll probably have to put all 4 of these together to do that barn, you know, that kind of thing. But then once they're assembled, I'll just do like a basting stitch so none of my edges get mangled. And of course it will be gentle handling even then, but not that I'm ever like taking my projects on a roller coaster, but you know what I mean. Anyways, I'm excited about this one. I've been into farms and farm animals for a couple of years now. So this was good timing for picking this up, and won't it be so pretty on a wall somewhere through the summer months. Just so cozy. I don't have a quilt hanging on my wall in this room. When I shifted rooms, well, I have a couple small ones, but you can't see them. When I moved to this room, I kind of lost my gallery moment because I have shelves on every single wall. But I miss having a quilt on my walls. I actually really enjoyed hanging a larger piece. So I have a wall downstairs that I think if I move some of my smaller, I have like a gallery wall downstairs that has paintings and things, my clock, you know. But I think if I move a couple of them over, kind of reorient the gallery moment, I would have a big enough spot that I could hang some quilts. So this is kind of where I picture this, like I'm gonna live in this house forever. Oh, that is some kind of little personal moment news. We have decided not to move this October. We're gonna postpone it until next year, just between baby coming and my health being a goober and kind of reorganizing our lives for a while. We just didn't want to push it. There's no rush to get out right away. That was our motivation, to just kind of move on and carry on through this promotion process. But yeah, anyway, so we're not moving this fall, which feels kind of real to say it out loud. I'm a little disappointed just because it's always exciting to, you know, keep moving towards our goals, but I also feel really good about it. It's the right thing, and it will be nice to have one more Christmas here and not have to pack all of our stuff up. Anyway, so I can dream about my little quilt wall for at least another year. Okay, next project is called Beehive. Oh my goodness, this project really wants to be talked about. Not yet. It's not your turn. Okay, so this is Beehive by Elizabeth Hartman, because I have no chill. And I started kitting this up in April, I think it was, March or April. It is so cute. It's another pattern I've had for oodles and oodles of time. I was like, what better time to stitch a bee and beehive quilt than when you live in the beehive state? So I got a charm pack, so 5-inch squares of solids, and then I pulled prints from Stash based off of the 25 solids I had chosen from that. This is my background fabric. It's our accent, and that's the bee skip. Pretty exciting. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so cute. It's gonna be so cute. And I'm really excited to do more work on it. So I started with the beehive because the bee skip, that made sense to get that bigger moment done. Cute. And then I've just started in the orange section for the bees. And rude. One orange bee. And the next step down, orange bee. There's definitely a chromatic flow of the solids. And then the wings vary from a light accent to a darker accent. So there'll be fun movement, and oh my gosh, I love it. It's so dang cute. I'm doing the smaller, so she has two versions, a large quilt and a small quilt. I believe I'm doing the small quilt. Is that correct? Yes, because I'm only doing 25 pieces. I just wanted something cute to toss on a chair or the couch. And there's the inspiration pick. So I did, you can see, my biggest mix-up is my Beehive, because I didn't do it solid, one color. I scrapified it. As one does, as I do all the time. I see an inspiration, I'm like, let's complicate this. Anyways, it's so cute. I'm really excited to get into like the pinks and the blues and all the fun colors, and I think it will be lovely. Yes. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, next project. Yes, this is the unexpected one. I had no plans to power through this project this year. This is called Grandmother's Pride. It comes from Fall Winter 2007 Better Homes and Garden Quilt Sampler magazine. I mangled my pages out of my magazine through one of my purges. So it is loose floating. I don't know what the cover looks like, but this is, let's see, how can I do this? I don't want to show the whole pattern. Here we go, we'll do it this way. So this is the quilt out flat. Really pretty. Just classic granny square, set on point. And this is my palette, which looks like I spilled coffee on it at some point, which I probably mention every time, but like, there it is. So I am doing, these are the backgrounds and the centers, and then, how does it go? Oh yes, these are the outer rings, and then the inner rings are all of these kind of corally raspberry reds. And then I've got teal in it because I was basing all of this off of a couple of fabrics, a fabric line really, an art gallery line that I went goo-goo over when I saw it. So when last we met, I had pretty much half of the blocks done. I still had half of the centers to do, so the granny square parts, and then the setting squares. But I had a dilemma because I had been working with scraps and I didn't have enough of this. It's kind of an off-white ivory with like a grayish undertone. It's very unique, or so I thought. Apparently it's a basic solid. But I didn't have any more. I had no idea what it was. No clue whatsoever. There was no selvage hints. And I was kind of, I was pretty busted up about it, because what do you do when you're halfway through a project? I was thinking I was going to have to, well, there were really two options. Either do everything I could with what I had and find the closest thing I could and then just alternate the blocks so it looks intentional if there was difference, which there was likely to be, because how would I ever find this fabric was what I was thinking. Code, I found the fabric. But or take off all of the setting square triangles and start over, basically. Just do a different fabric, which would have been a bummer because I did have around 1.5 yards already cut out and mostly on my squares. So yeah, I was pretty bummed about it. All right, we're gonna have to put some of these down. It's getting heavy and it's slipping. You're just getting a parade of these as I rattle on, because that makes sense to me right now. Anyways, long story long, I found the background. There's this shop. It's actually the shop I took my machine to that didn't work out, and then I wound up having to take it to a different shop that could actually, anyways, that's a whole separate story. But they do have a fantastic wall of solids. And I was like, okay, if I ever have a chance of finding anything similar to my original, it's gonna be here. So I went with my fabric and spent some time looking at their wall, found one that was so close. I mean, it's so close, you almost can't tell the difference. In the right light, I can see it. One's a little bit pinker than the other, but you're never gonna know. You're never gonna know. Once it's all together and there's sashings and it's quilted, none of these sit right next to each other because of the sashings. So it's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be fantastic. It was so close. I was like, all right, that's it. I didn't think I'd even get that close. So I bought a yard. I only needed like a yard. And I came home and then I got obsessed with finishing. I think I had 10 or 15 more of the granny squares to do. And once those were done, I was like, okay, well, let's put those sashing squares on. I've got the fabric now, no more excuses. And here we are. I have all of my blocks done. And I think there are 36 or something like that. There's quite a few of them, as you can see. Oh, aren't they pretty? They're so fun. They're all a little bit different. Whoopsie. They're so pretty. Here, let's use. I love, oh my gosh. I love the meerkats. They're so cute. Look at him. Anyways, so now we get to the good part, the fun part, the juicy bits. So we have sashings to do. There is, the original wants the sashings to be basically two fabrics, well, 3. So you've got your setting, your cornerstones, your stripe that goes in between the blocks, which is the same as your first border and your third border. And then a separate fabric for your second border. Let's complicate things. I have scrappy cornerstones out of the fabrics that are in the blocks. Cute. And then these are what it was all about. So this is, let's see, where is it? What is it? This is my sashing, which is an Andover Joe Morton. You know it's gonna be good when there's a Joe Morton involved. And then I believe this is my dark border. Ugh. Pretty. And this is my outer border. So this will be little, and this will be kind of medium sized, and then like a 4-inch or whatever on the outside. So it's like that. With my beautiful owls and all these flowers, and now you can see where all these colors come into play. If I pull my palette page out. So pretty. It's gonna be so pretty. So that's the sashings, and then this is the backing, which I've had since before I started this. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so pretty. I'm so excited. Wow. Won't that be good? Yes, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. So now it's just literally cut all of my strips, my sashings and stuff, and borders. Sashings and borders have to be cut, and then it's layout and assembly. Like, we're there, people. We're there. This is the one that started it all. I adore this fabric. What is this? Outer border. Oh, it's so pretty. So this is an art gallery. It's old at this point. I mean, I would say this is probably 6 years ago, maybe 7. art gallery. I do have lots of selvage though, so I can tell you it's from the Willow line by Sharon Holland. And do I have anything else? It doesn't have anything. There's not like a number. There should be a number. That's odd. Always have numbers. Well, apparently not this one. Anyways, Willow by Art Gallery. My words are gone. Gone. Tongue not working anymore. Art Gallery Foul. Bricks. Okay, we're gonna stop trying. Isn't she pretty though? Yes, it is. It's good. Okay. I think the backing is from the same line. I think these were all part of the same line. No, this is Shine On. The backing is Shine On. Still Art Gallery. Willow. Joe Morton. So, I'm so excited. This is going to be so good. I would love to have this done and get it quilted as soon as possible. I'll have to buy thread for it. I don't have thread, but I do have a batting on the way. So, motivation. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. Blah. Okay, next one. This is one I have been just dragging my feet through the mud on, but I am slowly making progress, so it's all good. Where is my picture? I know I have the pattern sitting here. Yes. So this is Meadow by Michelle McKillop. My brain binder moment for this is brief because all I have left to do, oh, here it is. I'm working on the flowers. I've had the center done since 2019. So you can see I'm marking off the flowers as I go. I think I have a couple more to add, but I started this before the brain binder really came into being. I tracked things. Some things I tracked more intensely than others, but you know, I was working full time back then, and I really only did a project or two at a time. So, other than samples. Anyways, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks to show you. So I have been a busy stitcher, busy stitching lady. I think this is where, oh, maybe I already showed you this one. Maybe I'm cheating. It's fine. Who cares? I'm allowed to cheat. So this one's done. No, I had not finished this one because I think I was still working on this little like comma thing. Anyways, it's done. It's so cute. So all the backgrounds are black and whites, and then bright, beautiful colors, which are very intentionally chosen to create a chromatic rainbow around the quilt. This one was a pain in the tuchus. All those points, let's tell you what, I'm getting practice. Some of them are getting better. Circles aren't that hard. You don't have to have templates for them. Just go slowly. This one's so funny. Ah! So fun. And last but not least, this is the one I finished last night, which I was actually one of the first ones I finished, but it only had the bottom layer of everything. So it was a stem, 2 leaves, 2 circles, 2 leaves, and a top. And I was like, that's kind of a boring block. Like after some of these other ones, I'm like, this is weird that that's all? That's the whole block? No, it wasn't. I went back and checked the pattern, and it had all these layery bits, and then I was distraught because I had lost the layery bits, and I finally found them safely tucked into an envelope somewhere. I don't even remember where I found them, but I did ultimately find them, and we were back in action because I couldn't even have told you what was missing other than the shapes based on the pattern. So that's 4 blocks done. It's not a block a week, but you know, we're winning. We're making progress. This is 4 blocks that were not done 2 months ago. I have the next 2 glued in place and ready to go. This would actually be over the top of those guys. There we go. Cute. These ones will be fun. I love this background fabric. It's fabulous. Those gnomes, so cute. So those are my next 2 blocks. Pretty fun. And then, golly, I should be closing in. Ugh, my hair's getting, it's so long it's like getting stuck in my armpits. Who knew that was a thing? Not me, not the pixie cut queen here. All right. Yeah, anyways. I'm making progress. I'm feeling really good about this. I've done all of this side. I recognize all of those blocks. I've done most, if not all of that side. We have no idea what sits here because this is the weirdest pattern. It's like here is everything but one side, and it doesn't even fold over to the back. There is no full image other than hand-drawn or drawn pictures, which, you know, is just funny. It's just funny. Anyways, it's going to be really pretty. I'm excited. Excited to be making progress. All right. So there is that one. What's next? Oh, that's everything I worked on. So now we get into fun bits, plans. I alluded to in my other videos, my off-the-rails, unhinged, drug-addled shopping spree I had post-surgery. We have officially decided that with my upcoming surgery I have at the end of the summer, I don't have exact dates for it yet, but we're thinking probably end of August, start of September. So, anyways, my phone has to be across the room, which I won't be able to get to because I won't be able to move for the first week. And by then I'll be clear enough that I will hopefully make better choices. These were really good choices. They were just, you know, money. Anyways, okay. So I have been trying to figure out a baby boy quilt because we must make him a little quilt, but where did it go? Terminus. But I have had, it's been a struggle, my friends. It's just been a struggle to choose. There's so many options out there, so many cute things, and I didn't have a real definitive concept for anything. So it was hard. I was kind of thinking space themed at first because, you know, he's being born in the year we went back to the moon. I briefly entertained a red, white, and blue theme because he's being born in July on the 250th anniversary of the United States declaring independence. But, you know, I didn't love that idea. And then I was like, okay, well, what if we went with something that was a little bit more like locally themed, like he's kind of being born in a desert, or maybe we want to do like a forest. Oh, here it is, a forest theme. I don't know. I've been all over the place, all over the board. I had even considered doing just something really traditional, like an Ohio star, but in really sweet colors, or, you know, little log cabins or something. And I still might do something like that. But I have chosen, after going through oodles and oodles of options, I did decide, I thought about this one, this cute little hatched and patched zoo. So cute. He still might get this one, but maybe for like his 3rd or 5th birthday. That one's not for him. I had considered, I have this really great old Quiltmania book that's all children's quilts, and they're fabulous. I was thinking about doing this one, which has all these cute little like photo booth moments then I found out that I had actually kitted this up in like pinks and purples and with this butterfly print, like super, very gender specific, girly. Anyways, it just wasn't right. So, and I didn't feel like kitting up a second one. Anyways, so it didn't hit the mold. Finally, I came back to Baby Cactus, which I think we talked about last time. So Baby Cactus is a choice by Cabbage Rose. I would imagine the pattern's still out there somewhere. I've had it for a long time. I used to collect baby quilt patterns that I loved like candy because my family was having so many babies. And honestly, I always thought I would, start contributing to the fold at some point, but so I've got a lot of really cute baby quilts, but I've made most of them. So I definitely wanted to pick something I haven't done before. Anyways, Baby Cactus wins. But I don't know how long I've had this pattern or where I got it. Its copyright is 2016, so, it's been around for a minute. You can probably find it. I wouldn't imagine this is like, limited edition, can't find it anywhere. So I went with scraps because shopping extravaganza already happened. So we've got to make this happen with scraps. So I will have 2 backgrounds. I didn't have enough of this one to do the full quilt. I think I have 12 blocks of this and 8 of this. There are 20 total cactus blocks, but they're cute. I think they'll be really fun together, and it will just have a bit more of a patchwork feel rather than like a whole cloth feel. Let's see, how can I do this? Because I want you to see the whole concept all together, and I don't have, like, I just did this yesterday, so I don't have the palette page made yet, but I'll see if I can lay this over here and gently show you the array. Oh yeah, it's working pretty good. So here's my backgrounds, and then there are a few moments where there's like a lighter pot or whatever, so I've got these cute stripes, little sunshines, little, I don't know what those are, emus or something, fishing lures, cute, cute, cute. And then darker pots, maybe we have some terracotta e-pots with stripes, and then we go into the cactuses, of which we have variety, and then there's like little blossoms, and some of them have little bluer moments, so we get into our blossoms and our bluer moments. But look how cute these are, these little turtles. I've been hoarding this fabric for eons. Oh, it's so cute. And then we've got our cute little, oh my gosh, I just identified this creature. Animals. My brain just deleted it completely. Anyways, it's gonna be super cute. I think it'll be really fun. I'm really excited to start fusing. This is fusible applique. I will be doing a buttonhole stitch on my machine because it's just going to be easier. Yesterday was a prep day, so I have all of the little shapes, and this is funky. They ask you to hollow out, so you trace your shape, and normally you would just fuse the whole shape on and cut out on the line, which I'll still do, but they had me cut out the centers of the, like this is a cactus, right? To reduce glue bulk. Now I'm using the Flexi Fuse. There wasn't going to be a lot of bulk anyways, but I think they just wanted to keep it as soft as possible because this is a baby quilt, not a placard we're putting on the wall, right? So soft, bendy. It's kind of a cool way to do it. I've not done this before. It did make tracing the shapes a little funny because I was trying to use all of the space in between so as not to waste it. So I'm looking for what shape will fit into, this big square pot. The pots are big. These are big little cactuses. They're big cactuses, bigger than I expected. Looking at the picture, you would think, you know, I don't know, a piece of paper or smaller. But let me move my, aren't they pretty? My stack here. But this is the size of the block, and you don't trim them down. So it's like, you know, the cactus sits in that space. They're pretty big. Anyways, I'm excited to try this different method of the hollowed out fusible shapes. I think it'll be great. And I'm really excited to get some cactuses fused on, because that's really going to showcase, you know, what it's going to look like. I'll get the concept at that point. It will be more, or rather it will be more than a concept. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You got it. Anyways, that's what baby boy is going to get. He's going to get a cactus quilt, which will be adorable and fun. And it'll be fun to do. And they did machine applique as well with a gray thread. So basically kind of trying to blend into your background. So might have to go buy something because mine's a little bit more brown. I do have gray, but I think it'll be too cool. I might want something like a little bit more taupey. Anyways, so I might have to go get thread before I can start actually sewing things down. But in the meantime, I have lots of fusing and cutting and pressing to do. So, and we've got time because he's still incubating, thankfully. Calm down, child. All right, what's next? Where's my notes? They're buried under everything. Notes. Okay, so now, we're in plans. So I'm going to work on the baby quilt, but I also have 2 things I'm going to start. Because I'm finishing things left and right. I have room in the brains to start something new. Oh, I'm not starting this one yet. We'll talk about it briefly, but I'm not starting it yet. This one I am starting, so I'll bring it up here. We're not talking about you this week. Go away. Ugh. And this one's a dilemma, so we'll talk about it. And I'm just going to get everything out from under the table so I don't have to keep turning away. Okay, so the first and most definite thing that I'm very excited to pull out is my Tilda Wales. If you've been with me from the beginning, you will have seen my attempt to start this. Oh gosh, it's at least 4 years ago because we've been here 2.5 and we lived in Bothell. Anyways, it was right at the beginning of my channel. I was trying to start this. I had a stack of mixed tildas with some cave facets. In fact, I even made one giant whale out of my fabric selection. And it was fine. I was not thrilled with it though. And I kind of put it aside because I was just like, it's just not. So last year, actually, I had a wonderful email from a viewer named Martha, and she said, hey, I have a lot of Tilda fabric. In fact, I have the original fabrics that were called for, which are hard to find. I've tried without buying scads and scads. So, and she so generously said, if you want, I would be more than happy to send you the fabric you need for this quilt. And I did not at the time think that she was going to kit up the entire quilt for me. I thought she was just going to send me some of the missing pieces. But she so generously and shockingly literally kitted up the quilt down to the background fabric. Martha, oh my gosh. And so she sent me this cute little card, and there's a typewritten note talking about so she kitted up hers at the same time. And so some of the things were cut a little differently than were identified, like the shapes, you know, inch by inch. It's different than listed perhaps in the pattern, but there's enough to do it. And I'm like, oh girl, I'm the queen of that, no big deal. But she's got it very clearly identified in there. Anyways, I have a kit of all these beautiful, beautiful, like, it's so much better. What I had would have been fine, but this is so much better. It's so pretty. It's Tilda. This is my fat quarter. I just threw it in there because I want to use it somewhere. It's not actually one of the ones, but it fits the theme. Maybe it'll be part of a scrappy binding or something like that. But anyways, so I haven't talked about it on the channel because I haven't been ready to work on it yet. But, and I'm certain, like I said, it's been almost a year since she sent this to me, but I'm certain I said thank you at the time, but let's publicly say thank you so much. I'm so excited. I've reread through the pattern because Tilda patterns are a little convoluted, but that's okay because the end result is going to be worth it. And once you read through it, it does make sense. It's just like, it's a kind of a head scratcher at first. Read through her patterns first. Anyways, I'm so excited. So I need to make little labels so that, though I probably don't because they are the call for colors. I think she has a little color. Yeah, there's a little chart. Oh my gosh, I'm such a hot mess right now. I'll just fold it. That's fine. Yeah, I've got a color chart. So I can just follow that. I don't even have to label them. I can just look at the chart. It's gonna be a dream. Anyways, I'm so excited. I'm starting my first whales this coming week, and yeah, this is gonna be such a delight. So thank you again, even though it's been a year. And it's happening. So summer project, it's gonna be perfect. I'm really excited to start that one. Summer of whales and bees and sunshine stars. Okay, so that's the for sure start. Those are the two for sure starts. Now we get into all the ideas. So maybe the best place to start is my mountain. So was it last autumn? I started talking about wanting to do something to kind of commemorate or remember our time in Utah with. And really, for me, the most impactful thing about Utah has been the spectacular mountains, which change from month to month. They are different and beautiful, and the lighting is magic on them. They're Utah's best feature. At least northern Utah's best feature. And so, yeah, beautiful. So I had pulled out this pattern called Shadow City from a book, which is in the box. I'll show the cover of the book in a minute. And then I had been trying to find pictures of Utah mountains to try to kind of figure out how I could recreate the mountains that I see in cloth. And it's a struggle bus. It's a struggle bus. I have changed this color flow more times than I can count. So this is French Braid Quilts by Jane Hardy Miller. It's an old book. I don't even know what the copyright is. 1823. No, just kidding. 2006. That's basically 1823. Beautiful quilts. I really love some of the bluer versions that just feel like a Monet water pond. Ugh, I love them so much. They're so pretty. Anyways, but I saw this one and I thought, okay, that looks like mountain peaks. Like you could really capture the purple mountain majesty kind of, which I've never lived anywhere. And I've lived by Mount Rainier, which is a spectacular mountain, and Mount Hood, which is a beauty. And like, I've lived in or near the mountains most of my life, but I've never lived anywhere where during the sunset the mountains truly turn. Sometimes, not all the time, it's like special sunsets. There is a purple glow to some of them. It's spectacular. I do not have the camera to capture it. It's just in my head. It's beautiful. And for the first time in my life, when I saw it the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, that's where Purple Mountain Majesty came from. Like the line from the song, right? That's where it came from. It's from like views like this. And so that's kind of what I wanted to capture in the quilt. This is my current fabric pull, which I don't like. I wanted to do with batiks, and I think at the time I was picturing the very dry summer mountains where it's very brown. There aren't really a lot of trees. There are little stands in the ravines of trees, at least my mountains here, but they're very barefaced rock, you know, jagged cliffs, beautiful. And then kind of going up into, you know, a little bit of a snow cap with a sky, potentially, right? And then there's like accent bits. That just, that's kind of how I feel about it. So then when I was digging, I came across a pattern I bought years ago when I had visited Utah. We'd done a camping trip, and, you know, we'd driven through the northern down to the southern region, and we'd really gone and we'd seen Bryce Canyon, which I can't recommend enough. Zion, which was heat stroke disaster, and we couldn't even get in. And yeah, Bryce Canyon. Go to Bryce Canyon. Oh my gosh, spectacular. Spectacular. Anyways, so we did that, and then we went up into Lake Tahoe for the first time. So it was a very campy, mountainous experience, and on our way home, we were stopping at quilt shops because my husband loves me. And I found this book with that quilt on the cover, which instantly had me thinking, oh my gosh, the mountains with the sunsets. And I think that's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's called Mountain High. And so I bought the magazine. I was like, I have tons of batiks and I work at a quilt shop. This is going to be easy to put together. And I found a couple of blacks for the binding and that border, because it's two different stripes, like a narrow stripe and a fatter stripe. So here's my fatter stripe. This is my narrow stripe. It's not a stripe, but I mean, it's kind of a stripe, but it's like a herringbone stripe. I don't know. It'll be great binding. Anyways, and so I was like, I was super gung-ho about this, and then my dog died, and we moved, and, you know, life changed, and so I never started it. In fact, I de-kitted it. I completely de-kitted it, and I came across it in the last week. I even came across my black and white stripes, which I had chosen for it. And here's what I'm thinking. My brain or my fabric selection or some combination of the two is not working with this. It's not finding it. It's not gelling. The sparkle's not there. I'm just really struggling. And it's to the point where I'm just not enjoying even thinking about it. So I might not do this one. Maybe we don't do this one. Maybe this isn't the moment for this one. Maybe I make one of the water lily ones later. But maybe this is the one I'm feeling. Maybe these are my Purple Mountains Majesty. With the gorgeous sunsets. This feels really good. I think I'm going to change gears and I'm going to go this way. So I have some fabric pulling to do, which is super fun. I need to find all these juicy greens and aquas and turquoises and purples and pinks and oranges and yellows, and it's going to be, oh, that's going to be so much fun. This is what I'm going to do. Decision made. Decision made. This feels good. So I'm going to play with that. If you wanted to see this magazine, it's 2021. It's a sampler edition, so they don't like have a month specific, but 2021 quilt sampler. I love these. I used to buy these every time I saw them because I would go through all of the quilt shop pictures and I just found so much inspiration. Like, the projects are hit and miss. Sometimes they're fabulous, sometimes they're like boring, but the quilt shop pictures are magic. You see in the background what people have created and made and how they've displayed things, and I just find so much inspiration. And sometimes I wind up going on the hunt for things I see in the pictures that aren't actually featured as a quilt. I don't know, I find them so inspiring. Anyway, so I have a little collection of the quilt sampler ones because they're happy. Anyways, new mountain. We've got a new mountain. So that's that brain thought. And yeah, we're going full feature length here, people. Take a break. Have a little libation. Oh, I do have some water. Where did you come from? There we go. This is my sewing room water bottle, my studio water bottle, where we sit like a goblin and sew like the wind. And sometimes, well, shit. You just need a steam ripper and caffeine and a dog. Makes me happy. Okay. And we always, always, always be kind. Oh, fun. Okay, what else? So much else. So that was that was the mountains. Okay, so we've talked about the mountains. Okay, I have been collecting for, probably wondering why you haven't seen this yet, but, excuse me, it's because I haven't started it yet. And at this point, it might wait till August. I might make August like my, oh my goodness, excuse me, I take one drink of water and I swallow all of the air, apparently. Okay. This is Trick or Treat. 300 3-inch baskets. It's fantastic. With a few little 9 patches in there. Oh, I love it so much. And the fleur-de-lis little corner border thing. So my idea originally was, and honestly it still is, to potentially soft stitch a basket every day to every other day. And wouldn't that be fun? Because they're not big, and once it's all prepped, which is really the bulk of the work, they shouldn't take that long to stitch, which is still true. But I needed to gather fabric and see what I had. I did wind up going out and finding a few additional fat quarters to mix in, but here's my palette. Rusty, mustardy, shots of black, nice warm backgrounds, 1800s. We're doing 1800s reproductions. It's going to be fantastic. Oh my gosh. I can't wait till you can see some of these fabrics because they're so dang good. We've got Joe Morton's and Betsy and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's just good. So good. Anyways, so I'm really happy with my fabric collection. Did I show you the book it comes from? I forgot. When the Cold Wind Blows. Which, this is Blackbird Design, so if you're a cross-stitcher, the vibes are familiar. Anyway, so I'm super excited to start this, but When I started working on Meadow a little bit more regularly, I definitely realized that some practice would be good before I dive into smaller shapes. So, like I said, I think I will probably start this in August because I always start feeling a little more autumnal wishes. Like middle of August and stuff. So, collecting, feeling good about it, but probably not going to start quite yet. But I wanted to show you that it's still in the wings, it's still happening, and the gathering goes well. Speaking of gathering, this one I have also not started. So I kind of briefly talked about this. I'm calling it my Midnight Garden because I always make my own names for things because I'm cool. Anyways, the concept is dark backgrounds, bright colors, flowers, night creatures. It's all foundation paper pieced. So I went through, and basically all I've done so far, other than dream about it, is gather some of my indigos. So, blacky, inky blues with little pops of other stuff to give light and movement. But really we want the figures to shine. So, still collecting. I do want to kind of gather, so I have this book which has a lot of the like cone flowers and stuff like that that will be featured, but I've also purchased a few designs off of Etsy, more specific, like a raccoon and a moon and an owl and mushrooms and cute things like that, right? Night garden things. A couple additional flowers. Anyways, I need to print those out. I need to get some foundation paper. I really like the Carol Dokes foundation paper. It's a little lighter, it tears easier, perforates easier. I am apparently out. I dug all over the place and I can't find any more. So I must have used what I had, which is okay. But so that one's in the works. I don't have a start date for it. I want to kind of gather all of my images and create kind of a concept design to see, you know, kind of sketch out, you know, where do I want the owl? Where do I want, I have a UFO because of course, where do I want that? What is the composition of this quilt? So still working on that. It's kind of in the background right now because I definitely have a lot of collecting and conceptualizing to do for that. But I am still very excited, and it's definitely still on the brain. It's happening. It's just that one's going to take a little longer to get going. That's okay. I've got, you know, one or two other things to work on in the meantime, like baby cactuses. And let's get into some of my haul. So, what did I buy when I was fresh out of the hospital? Oh, such fun things. Okay, so the first thing was Tula Pink was in the middle of kind of what is it called? She was featured at a quilt show, which is what an honor. That's so spectacular. She deserves it. She's very, very talented, and I'm a fan. But she showed she's recently in the last couple years, she's gotten into applique in a big, giant, spectacular way, and she's putting her own Tula Pink twist onto it. And I'll pop in a picture of what she did. I could only buy one of these patterns because they're not cheap. But I bought whimsical vases because I didn't want to do the exact quilt that she was doing. I wanted to do my own thing, but I also loved both this and the one she did. So this is by Kim McLean. You can go onto gloriouscolor.com and see all of her other beauties. Oh my gosh, this is intricate and spectacular. The border alone from these giant viney pots to all the little, they almost feel like desert critters to me. Like it could be a donkey and a coyote and, you know, I don't know. It feels a little deserty to me. But it's so cute. I mean, we've got a stag up here. We've got... Delightful. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. There's so much. This is like a lifetime achievement award project for me. Like I want a blue ribbon when I finish this one. I have no plans to start this anytime soon. I need practice. But I'm doing the baby steps that will get me to this project. This is goals. This is like Fair Isle stitching for knitting for me. Like that's why I want to knit, is because, well, I do knit, but that's my motivation to get better at knitting, is because I want to do all the Fair Isle sweaters and stuff. This is my Fair Isle of applique. I want to be good enough to be able to do tiny rainbow critters in flower pots. There you go. Spectacular. It's so awesome. I also got a couple small things. I think I had to order some fabric, and fabric can't travel alone, and that's adorable. Geese. Gertrude. I found this when I went down to Quilts, etc. for the Pearl Cottons with my sister, and this one just had to come home. He's so funny. It's awesome. I'm gonna do brighter colors, more Halloween-y colors, and I'll just put him out, you know, in October in my studio. But what a hoot. He's awesome. And then Sarah Filkey, I didn't know this book existed, but I came across a picture of this quilt somewhere and went down the rabbit hole and actually found a copy of this book. And it's all about that quilt. There's some other really good ones. The whole kind of concept of this book is taking old traditional quilts and giving them a fresh spin. So I'll just show you this one, what the original was, the antique quilt. Where is it? Ugh, thought I had the wrong book or something for a second. So this is the original, which honestly, I would love to make the original because that is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. Oh, I love it. Anyways, but then she took it, and her quilts are typically very bright, rainbow, gorgeous, and so then she turned it into a fresher rainbow. Anyways, both gorgeous. There's nothing wrong with either one of them. Anyways, fun book, fun concept, and I can add it to my collection of Sarah Filkey books. And that one's not water damaged like my other ones. So, okay, now we get into the nitty gritties. So first of all, I accidentally bought a block of the month. Like truly, I didn't know it was a block of the month until it showed up. And then I was like, first of all, when did I order this? And second of all, what? Because I would never purchase the wool. I have a wool stash. I want to use that. Like, let me get it out of the plastic for you. Anyways, the quilt is gorgeous. And fortunately, I only bought the first month as a physical pattern with kit. And the rest of it, I've gone back in and looked. So I've gone on to Triple R Mercantile, excuse me, on Etsy. Etsy was my kryptonite. Isn't it cute? Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I love it. I have no regrets. And what I've been trying to get to the words of are, she's also selling digital patterns. So I bought a kit of the first, and then I've been keeping up with it through digital patterns. The wool isn't terrible. It's not what I would choose. It's not terrible. thankfully felted wool, not wool felt, because they're very different. They're just different. Anyways, I also wouldn't choose a solid black background. So I'll chuck this all into stash probably, and whenever I decide to actually make this, and then I'll pick my own materials for it. But it is charming and beautiful, and I love it. I mean, I'm here for a garden full of chickens. That's fantastic. Here's a different close-up of month 1 with the peas. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Such funky chickens. I love it. With eggplants and carrots and gourds of all sorts. May I, a small house and a large garden have. I love it. Anyways, Backroad Farm by Lucinda Shattuck. 12-part stitch along. But I'm just collecting the digital charts now. So I think they just released month 5. So I have months 1 through 5. I haven't printed out any of the others because I'm not ready to yet. But, you know, maybe next year or the year after that, I will. Maybe next year I'll start gathering supplies, and the year after that I'll actually start it. Something like that. It's gorgeous. I'm glad to have it. But it was such a surprise. I called my sister and I was like, so apparently I bought a block of the month. Anyways. Crazy shenanigans. The other thing that is crazy that I did was I bought a stack of fat quarters. But I couldn't not. This one I actually do vaguely remember. It's so pretty. And the theme is You've Got Mail. So if you've seen the movie, as we're going through this, I'll just flip through it. This is actually a pretty good way to do it. See if you can identify. Brinkley. Not everything has a thing, but New York in the fall, bouquets of sharpened pencils, juicy, warm, homey. I don't remember what this one says. I don't know. It's words. Kathleen Kelly, glasses. Nobody actually wore glasses in that movie, but you know. Actually, did she wear glasses while she was reading? Doesn't matter. Anyways, I love it. FOX. Oh, pens, business, go to the mattresses, more Brinkley. Anyways, and then we've got our low volumes. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I can never be with anybody who owns a boat. That's it. We can never be together. Anyways, it's so good. The colors are fabulous. The theme is so sweet. I love You've Got Mail, and basically most, not all. I didn't like Joe versus the Volcano, but Sleepless in Seattle is one of my favorite movies of all time. You've Got Mail is pretty much on the same level. So I have been thinking, what do I do with this glorious stack of fat quarters? I also added this one in. This was not part of the stack. That's why it's folded differently. But it works. Go back in there. I thought I added one more to it too. Anyways, doesn't matter. So I've been trying to think, what do I do? This is a lot of fat quarters. I can do an entire quilt with this. I have to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Oh my goodness. So what I'm thinking is I want it really traditional. I actually went through images of the movie to see, because I know Kathleen Kelly had quilts on her bed. They really only showed Joe Fox's bedroom once, and it was very, you know, mainstream, sterile, clean lines. I'm pretty sure they just had like a solid duvet on their bed. Kathleen had quilts, but it was a pinwheel quilt, which is, you know, appropriately soft and whimsical for her character. this is really more of a Joe Fox bundle than a Kathleen Kelly bundle. So I wanted it to be traditional, but I don't know. I've been going back and forth. I think I've settled on flying geese. And I can show you a picture of, I should have been making notes of all these things I need to put pictures of in. Because I don't normally add pictures to my quilting bees because they're just so long. But anyways, sets of 4 flying geese alternating directions up or down in rows, basically. And just 2 colors for each set of 4. So I could pick any 2 colors, you know, it'll be super scrappy, super random. And then it just all comes together. So that's kind of my first concept. The other one was not 16 patches, but like it's like a 5x7 or something. So it's an elongated block, a rectangle of squares of your choice, but alternating a dark and a light of, so you just, again, you just pick 2 colors and make a block and then move on to the next one. So kind of same scrappy concept for both, but it's just kind of settling onto which one felt the most Joe Foxy. And maybe in some ways the squares would be a little bit more, you know, clean. There's a lot of gray in his scenes. So I don't know. But I love it. I'm excited. What a crazy, insane thing. I never buy fat quarter packs. Never. Especially specially curated ones. Like, what a treat. Anyways, obviously, we're not sending any of these things back. We're just pinching pennies for the next few months to make up the difference. It's all good. So, working on a concept for that. I would love to start, I mean, September feels like an appropriate start for a You've Got Mail quilt. Yeah, back to school, kind of back to that quilt. So I'll figure something out by then, and maybe I'll even do some prep work, but we'll meet again before then. We'll meet again, because it's June. In theory, we would meet again in August before I have surgery. So, because then it will be months before you see me. I will disappear. That's okay. I'll get so much done. Maybe I'll get nothing done. Unknown. So I talked about that. Gotta make the baby quilt. I am going to try to prep. I'm not going to do any of the stitching yet, but oh my gosh, I have a tornado of quilty goodness around me. Back to the start. Change of seasons. I would like to get the autumn block or scene prepped. This is what it looks like with our cute little crow or raven guy. I traced all my shapes yesterday on my fusible paper, and I've had wool pulled since last summer because I was certain I was just going to fly through all of these, but that did not happen. So I've got the wool pulled. This is my background fabric that I was considering tea dyeing. You know, I kind of like it though. It kind of has its own grain, and maybe we'll just leave it as is. Let it be a still moment. Maybe we'll tea dye winter. I don't know. We'll see. But we're 50% of the way through the year in multiple senses. So I'll get this fused in place, and then it'll be available for autumn wool applique, which will be fun because I'm typically fairly seasonal. So yeah, those are kind of, that's the whirlwind, that's the game. Definitely going to be working on Derby House, Strawberry Garden, my whales, and my sunshine paws, and my bees. So those 5 will be priority through the summer because they're summery, right? But then pulling fabric for my mountains, getting prep work done for trick or treat, so I can just pick up a block and work on it come August, and kind of a game plan for farm life and baby quilt. So much. The only one with any even soft deadline is the baby quilt, but I really think it's going to go quickly. Once it's prepped, it's just sitting on a machine and stitching, so I'll just turn on Lord of the Rings or something and stitch away. Yeah, I definitely did something. This is a mess. What fun. Okay, thank you so much for hanging out with me through this feature-length film. I hope you're having a marvelous June. I will be back in a couple of... Oh, I forgot this. Stars upon stars. I actually have an idea for this. Purples. I've been having a hard time finding a color palette for this because it is so all over the place, and it reads really red to me in general, like red pink, right? And I didn't want to do red pink, so I've kind of struggled, but I'm thinking like teals and purples and greens, and I've always wanted to do a purple quilt. Like, I mean, I've done purple quilts before, but you know, like something epic with purples. Anyways, there's a little last minute side thought because it was hiding under here like a lurker. Yes, I hope you're having a wonderful June, a wonderful summer. Kids are probably out if you've got them. I don't have children, so it's funny, I notice things like that through the activity in the neighborhood. The pool is hopping these days into the wee hours. It's pretty fun. We have this little gang of boys that goes around on bicycles, and one of them has like an electric Jeep thing, one of those like Barbie Jeeps like I always wanted, but for boys. It's a boy Jeep. And they run around with walkie-talkies and plastic swords and squirt guns, and they have these epic wheeled battles. It might be my favorite thing of summer 2026 so far. They're so cute, and it's so fun to watch them. Yeah, they're pretty adorable. So summer's in full swing here. Yeah, take care of yourselves. I hope you get lots of sewing, lots of stitching done. Do you work on things seasonally, or are you just kind of, you work on what you have going until it's done? Are you crazy like me, or cool? I'm crazy cool. Are you crazy cool like me? And you just work on whatever flits through your brain, your hummingbird brain. Yeah. Okay. Take care of yourselves. Like I said, I'll probably be back. Well, I'll definitely be back in August. It might be, it just depends. So I have an appointment to make a schedule on July 1st. So I'll know more in a couple of weeks as far as dates go. But definitely before surgery, I'll be back to see what I've done through the summer and what the plan is going into the next season, which is always fun. There's always a shift. I have a couple of whips that are definitely very seasonal that will come back out of the archives, and some of these brighter ones, if they're not done, they'll go back into the archives. So yeah, that's always fun. I love the season change. Yeah, but I'll be back with a floss tube. If you watch my floss tubes, probably next week or the week after, sometime before 4th of July. Yes, that's the plan. That's the plan, Stan. Okay, take care. I'll see you guys later. Doodles.